Welcome back to Psychonauts, everyone. We've had our fun, but today we need to climb to the top of Thorny Towers. So let's just get on with it. At least they give us some stuff to smash here and recover some health and ammo. And there's someone hiding in the ceiling, and if you can hear it, we've got a rat problem. Yeah, these rats take something like 3 brains of health when they explode, but fortunately I'll get it all back in due time with my regeneration ability. I wouldn't attempt to pass this point without it. And I don't know why, but there's a rat just stuck in the corner there. Of course, the damage that the rats do isn't the worst part of it. You might notice that when a rat explodes, there's confusion gas left behind. And there's more brains up here. At least that's something to do.
Benny. I thought it would be smaller.
There are a lot of brains here, and a lot of cards. So if you don't explore pretty thoroughly and check all the nooks and crannies, you're gonna miss something. And you may have to scour the entire area to find it. So, doesn't look like there's anything in this room. There are a lot of places with things in them, and then a lot of places with no things in them. I guess that could be said of just about anything, but it can be really annoying in this place. And the rats see me as a piece of cheese falling through a hole and right back to the beginning of the area. The shield is probably the easiest way to deal with them. It doesn't last long enough to protect against the confusion gas, and sometimes it'll confuse you right through it. But it'll prevent you from taking any damage, and you can usually just stand still and wait for the confusion to wear off. We're right above where we started, that was the elevator. And this part's just kind of annoying if you can't jump properly. This place will at least test all of your movement skills, but I think that's the real problem with it. There's nothing happening here. There's no story progression, no characters unless you go back to camp and restore some of the kids' brains. And I'm really tired of not being able to see. Maybe a brighter ball will help me.
Huh?
Can I change the color of my levitation ball?
Like, say, to what?
It's my favorite color for it, just in general.
Okay.
Hope that makes you feel pretty.
Nothing more to report at this time.
Crawl her out.
But it doesn't do a much better job of lighting anything up. At the very least, you're not going to miss any cards or brains in the dark areas, because they do stand out. I need to jump off this grind rail and into the door on the other side, but that's not going to be very easy to do. And no, there's nothing back here. Just a dead end that goes on way too long. Yeah, you might have noticed a brain inside this door. It's a really tricky one to find.
Bobby Zilch? I didn't know you had a brain. Man, I wish you were here for that joke, Bobby.
It's not hard to find because it's in a difficult place. The other problem with this area, I think, is that it's not usually obvious where you're supposed to be going at any time. I mean, look at this. Can you tell where you're supposed to go? Probably. Other areas aren't going to make it nearly so clear. And yeah, that squeaky voice is going to be in the background for most of the time we're in here. At the very least, if you're a fan of voice acting, you might recognize Tara Strong, the voice of Bubbles from the Powerpuff Girls, and I think Twilight Sparkle from My Little Pony Friendship is Magic.
Yep.
This is not necessarily going to endear many people to the character that she plays in this game.
Elka Doom. Maybe I should let JT have some time alone before I return this brain.
And of course, doesn't every level need to be right at the edge of fatal falls?
Who?
See, what makes this game great is not the gameplay, for the most part. It's not the excellent platforming challenges and forced levitation usage. It's the characters and the story and the humor. All the things that bring the game to life. And this part of the game takes all of that away and makes you focus on the platforming, which is really the worst part of the game. It usually controls reasonably well, but almost every time you pull out levitation or platforms that aren't flat, it's hard to tell what you're doing. And then you add a place where all the masonry and construction is just twisted out of proportion. Nothing makes any sense here. It's confusing. It's hard to tell where to go. Your camera's constantly getting swapped by confusion. Not to mention the rats doing a number on your health. It's pretty bad. I mean, look at this staircase. You can only walk so far up the staircase before you slide off. If you want to actually climb the staircase, you have to walk on the side of the stairs. Now, I can certainly appreciate the effect, basically showing that the overdoses of Psytanium in the area not only messed with people's minds, but also messed with the actual physical layout of the area. The building has in effect been corrupted by the influence of the Whispering Rock. I get that. But I think the point has been made. And I don't know where to go from here. I mean, through the ceiling, obviously, but where's the hole? Tucked away in a dark corner, of course. And then a whole bunch of rats. Even with the max level ricochet on your Psyblast, you still can't take them all out in one shot. Although, I wouldn't want to go in there without the ricocheting Psyblast. Didn't think there'd be anything behind the door, but you gotta check. And you can see here we're actually walking on the walls of the facility. At this point, I don't know whether the facility has just collapsed. It can't possibly have been intended to look this way. And now we get to the point where things aren't nearly as straightforward as they have been. Yes, I'm saying that with a straight face. You can't see me, but I'm quite serious in saying that this is where things start to get confusing. At least that brain over there you can see, but there are a lot of them tucked away up here in places that you're not usually going to look. And of course, just about every place you can stand here is slanted in some way, which means if you're on the levitation ball, you're gonna fall off. And also you can't grab things and pull yourself up, and you'll find yourself falling back to the bottom of the area over and over again. Although there is the acid down there right below me, which is, I think, the only place in the game outside of Mia's mind where you ever find a surface that you need to use levitation to walk on.
Yo, Quentin. Good to see your brain again.
They tutorialized it and then didn't really bother to use it. Anyway, I know I can get up there, but I think I want to take the long way around, because there should be another card or something over here. If I can get to it. Yeah, I can't get to the top of that staircase. I think what I needed to do was turn around and jump up the other way from the bottom half of the staircase. And I'm tired of dealing with the rats. I'm gonna see if I can just get above them. They can follow me this far, but once I start climbing on the pole, I don't think they can follow. And that ledge over there is one of the more difficult brains to find. Very worth it though, and I'm pretty sure they intentionally made it a character that you're gonna care about. At least I don't have to worry so much about rats coming up behind me as long as there are some in front of me. There's the card I was trying to get to earlier. And that ledge is a brain everybody misses.
Dogan Pool. I told you I'd get your brain back.
And of course, it's still death if you fall off. So now we can continue climbing up. And they give us a very nice view of another brain out there, but we have to climb to the gap in this mesh in order to get to it. Pretty sure it's Phoebe's brain. We just found Quentin's not too long ago. Usually the kids that hang out together will come in pairs. And I just need to make sure to actually be on the outside of the mesh when I fall down.
Huh. Phoebe's brain is warmer than the others.
And then we just climb right back up again. You don't even have to get off the mesh there, you can just keep climbing right up. But you can also jump past that section. And now we get to the really annoying part. As if everything we've had up until now wasn't annoying enough.
Yay! Woohoo! Crystal's brain. Let's hear it for thinking.
I'd forgotten that her brain was over here. That's not even what I was talking about. But we need to keep moving up, and there's no floor. You know, we've got the narrow ledges that we're still walking on. Yet more rats. More of that confusion effect hitting me and scrambling all my powers. And tucked away right up here underneath the ceiling is the one challenge marker for the area. I think that's the last challenge marker in the game. And it's really tough to get to. So fortunately they've got this bed here as a shortcut to get back up. Or all the way to the bottom. This is the worst part about this area. You're going to be going up and down, even if you haven't missed anything. And these rats respawn every time. I mean, I've got regenerating health and I'm down to less than half of it. Okay, let's make this bed work. Or just get bombarded by rats. That probably would have been death without the shield up. And I fall down yet again. But fortunately, I land on a rooftop just below where I was. Getting back up from here isn't too annoying. I don't know whether you would normally reach this point from below or whether it's just there to catch you if you fall. And if it's there to catch you when you fall, I don't know how I missed it last time. You just kinda do. Alright, one more shot at this. Unless I fail, in which case, more than one shot at this. Well, at least the rats don't seem to have respawned yet. And I'm going to try to jump to that marker from above, but I'm not going to be able to do it by grabbing the edge of the ledge and dropping. That's going to drop me too far before I can get levitation working. It was a good try, but that's not the way you're meant to do it. And that's how the bed is supposed to work. Now what you need to do you need to stand on this little ledge here that's just sticking out right at the edge. And from there, it's a simple jump and float to get to the challenge marker. And that should be the last rank up that I'm going to get until the end of the game, pretty much. We're almost there, don't worry. And she's supposed to have a line there. I don't know why she's not saying anything. I'm beginning to think that maybe my copy of the game is corrupted. Anyway, we've got a chair wedged under the door handle. So we need to move it. And that'll give us entry into that room. Well, she's got a line for the room on the other side that we can't even get into. Can't do anything with the door at this point. It's already open. So we can drop down this hole, and that's how we get into the next room, and I think Clem's brain.
Clem's brain. 3 cheers for brains.
I think we're getting pretty close to having the full set. We're almost done with this area, but there's still a little bit more we've got to do. Fortunately, it's a pretty linear path from here, really easy to follow. And I don't know if it's even possible to miss that card. We'll just climb up the outside of the building, grab this one last brain.
To think that every cell in Nil's brain is dedicated to the ladies.
I almost forgot that he existed. So, as I suspected, I've now gotten everything in this area. I can leave and never come back.
Who?
This is your last warning! Go back down right now or you'll be very, very sorry!
Well, she has been trying to warn me about what's up ahead, but with the worst part of the game behind us, there's nothing else to do but move forward. I'll see you next time when we reach the top.